This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Welcome, everybody. It is another regular meeting of the Communication Committee. It is May 8th, 2025 at 7 p.m. And this is the call to order. So first item up is the minutes.
And I'm going to suggest that Ms. Giovine sent me some notes this afternoon around 3:30 that I have not been able to decipher, so I can't make any thoughts or any additions or any corrections to the minutes that she is suggesting. I would recommend that we just table them for the next meeting.
Okay.
Emily, I want to ask, just because this was an issue last week, were you able to make out Lou as he spoke right there? Or should we move the microphone closer to him?
Oh, I was able to hear him.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Skip public comment for now because there's nobody here. Education training reports for committee members. Anybody do any kind of training or anything? No, that's okay.
And just a reminder, everybody, too, why we're putting that in there, is so we can use that at the end of the year to compile what sort of training we might have done. So that's why we're doing that.
Yeah.
So I guess I should say this then. Was it 2 weeks, a week ago, that we took the public speaking course in this room? Myself and 5 other people. Would that be considered part of the training?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
I took a public speaking course.
Excellent.
Did it work?
No.
That was a good one.
What sort of stuff did you go over? Is there anything you can share with us?
It was sort of an introductory, a 101 to public speaking, kind of a Dale Carnegie.
Don't touch your face.
We stood up and she gave us a topic, our instructor. It was actually lovely and gracious and very personable, you know, the kind of things you want from somebody who's leading that kind of an event.
Yeah.
And we taped ourselves and got to look at ourselves speaking and the things that we do or don't do that are correct. So you're supposed to read everybody's face in a random fashion and really look at them as you speak and gesture and, you know what you want to say, have a good idea, a good grasp of what your topic is going to be. And I thought I was pretty good at that, you know, because I'm kind of a conceited son of a gun. And I turned out I wasn't as good as I thought I was.
You always learn something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It was good. It was good.
Who put it on?
Nice.
Joanne was the one who organized this thing, and this was organized to go in months ago, early, maybe late fall, early winter, and something happened, and so she rescheduled it for April, and there were 5 or 6 of us in the room. I'm forgetting who was
Yeah,
here.
cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. Communication plan is going to be the next item up. Look at this, we're cruising right through it.
I'm sorry, so you just went by PCT manager?
Esther's not here. I don't have any paperwork from her this time.
So there's no update.
Yep. Unless Esther pops in later, and then we'll
Okay.
see if we can get anything from her.
Okay, so I'm with you now.
Okay, I have feedback from Lisa Lazard-Pearson. I'll read this out and then I'll pass it over to you so that you can have it for record. I'm actually, well, I can give you a copy as well, but I meant give it to Mark so that he can review it for his document.
It's more important that Mark have it than I have it. Yeah.
All right, appreciate that. All right, so and this is from Lisa. I really appreciate communications plan, feedback, and suggestions from Lisa Pearson.
Thank you.
I really appreciate the overall structure and vision of the plan. It's clear that there is a strong focus on building community trust, transparency, and engagement, which is so important for a town's success. The emphasis on improving communication across various channels, such as the website, social media, newsletters, shows a forward-thinking approach addressing both the immediate needs and long-term goals of the town. I also like that it includes a balance of both the big picture, e.g. enhancing public awareness, strengthening the local economy, and the practical details, e.g. setting up systems for emergency communication, making meetings more accessible. It's a holistic approach that considers not just what needs to be communicated, but how to make the process smoother, more inclusive, and more effective for everyone involved. I am so impressed with the level of analysis and breadth of content in your communications plan. You and your team spent a tremendous amount of time truly analyzing who we are as a community, identifying what the impediments are to impact-driven communications, and delivering, parentheses, probably one of the best communication plans I've read to date, close parentheses, a plan that exceeds all expectations. Kudos to you. So that's that. Almost done. In a perfect world.
Can you stop right there?
What more need be said,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. In a perfect world. Next
We're
line.
to the butt part now.
Yeah, this is the, yeah. So, as it stands, the plan is packed, all caps, with thoughtful analysis and ideas, but breaking it into shorter sections with bullet points and bolded key phrases will make it easier for everyone to follow. Other considerations: clarify who's responsible. Clearly assigning roles for each objective will help keep things moving and ensure progress is tracked effectively. Focus on what matters most. You have a huge amount of work ahead of you. Prioritizing goals with a timeline, short-term, mid-term, long-term, will help set realistic expectations and keep efforts on track. Define success in a meaningful way instead of broad goals like improve the town website. Setting measurable targets, e.g. increasing website satisfaction from 55% to 75% in a year. Will make it easier. This will make it easier to see what's working and where improvements are needed. Let me know if you want to talk about this further. The plan is great as it is, so take my suggestions for what they're worth between you and me and everyone I've just read to. So,
That wasn't a big but.
no, not at all. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I've sent it to Steve and Kevin. Have not heard back from them. But yeah, I think we'll take what they come back with, see if they sort of concur on some of the same elements, and move from there.
Yeah, so I think a lot of what Lisa talked about would be in a tactical kind of plan. And we,
For sure.
And we agreed that we wouldn't do it at this point, but, it's something the committee could take on going forward, I think.
Yeah.
Because Kate has nothing to do anyway.
Nothing at all.
She does have many hours to fill.
Many hours to fill.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. I enjoy eating bonbons on the beach. It's still closed.
Yeah, and part of my email to Kevin and Steve, I did say, like, this is a strategic plan, not a tactical. That will come after this is more or less approved. So we'll see what they come back with.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Otherwise, any other questions, concerns, thoughts? All right, thank you, Lisa. Town social media.
Did you want to go first this week, Emily, since I went first last week?
I don't really have any updates other than just continuing to post what Kate posts on Facebook, on her Instagram, and then I have been pretty busy the last few weeks, so I haven't been as consistent with the rec department's Facebook as I would like to be, but hopefully after this weekend I should be able to get back on that consistently again.
Okay. And has like the relationship with them been okay? Has it been like, have they been aggressive about things, or has it been really lax? Or like, I just want to make sure that like you as a volunteer are not under any pressure to like, oh my God, I have to get this done. Like it's your second job, and they're forcing you into posting things late nights or whatever. Just want to make sure we're checking on that.
No, they've been fine. Like there was a lot of emails that came through when they were putting out the catalog that was sent to me and Kate at the same time. But as far as like making sure it gets on the Facebook, she's not pushy about it at all. She doesn't really check in on that. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And again, like you're a volunteer. So if at any point this just gets to be too much, your personal life is there. we could find other people to work on the social media aspect of things, or if you get bored with it, right? We can find other people. But if you're doing fine, then great, keep going. I think you're doing an excellent job.
I do appreciate all the help, and it hasn't gone unknown. I did notice that the posting had slowed down, and I'm fine with that. The only reason I bring that up is because the Stingrays, which is the town swim team, which is affiliated with the rec department, they really want to look at increasing their numbers and putting out more material directly on the town's rec page versus just on their team page. And I had to get them set up between you and their person doing it and everything else. And I saw things were slowing down, and I was like, I'm gonna just kind of take Emily's temperature when we talk. So Chris did that for me, so thank you.
No problem.
So when you're ready to have that conversation, just let me know and we can get that going. For the town social media, no. Are we okay?
Sorry, I noticed that the camera wasn't swapping between people, so we've resolved that.
Perfect. So, it's been pretty status quo. I've been able to undig a little bit this week and get different events and stuff that people had sent in to us, not just posted to the town's website, but also posted to social media and, more scheduled posts for future things. So that's been huge to be able to get kind of in front of that. I was also able to get back on track with posting the meetings that were happening each day to come out in the morning. So we're back on track with that. In regards to views and stuff, the safer stuff is still the highest ranking thing for the last month. But then coming up behind it is the infographic that went out earlier this week about how to calculate what your property taxes would be. So that's catching up. It certainly hasn't exceeded what's happening with that. And then everything else is like we talked about, it's all pretty much just Prop 2.5 stuff with the scholarships thrown in. So no real change there. Just a different Prop 2.5. Social media pushing its way through.
Gotcha. How's that going?
It's going okay. There's, people always have comments. The biggest one being why did you pick this dollar value for your example? Why did you use this dollar? There was no perfect dollar value. And all the examples that we've shown to date use the average median value in town. So it seemed like overkill to do it again.
Yeah.
So I just picked a random one. I picked a lower one, knowing that we're going to be putting out stuff in regards to, the senior veteran work-off program, as well as the HEROES Act and everything else that can reduce tax rates too. And those only affect certain individuals, that have certain statuses, but you also have to have your property value below a certain amount and everything else too. So I went with a lower dollar value, thinking of the stuff that's coming out in the future and these audiences.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for social media. Actually, I'm do I save it for when I have my report or not? I'll wait till the end, till when I do my report.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anything else about town social media? Okay. We are cruising. We're gonna be done by 7:30. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. Town newsletter. Well, we got Emily here, so she can give a report, and I also have some written stuff from Allegra. So I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I was gonna say Allegra gave me a very nice list of notes to go over.
Very
So for the May 1st issue, we had 188 people that were subscribed. It went to 134 people because 25 people or 27 people did not receive it because of the Belchertown.org issue with the emails.
Have we? I don't think have we gone over that with you guys.
No.
So Emily, I don't know if you want to cover it. I've some history with Kevin on it as well, but up to you.
Yeah, you probably know more about it than I do. I've seen the emails come through, and Allegra gave me a little background, but yeah.
Okay. So all of Belchertown.org, all the email accounts for town staff, automatically blocked the town newsletter.
Nice.
Yes. It's the town's security system for email Mimecast is like incredibly strict. They always set it up very strict. This is sort of an issue that we've had before with like, I don't think it's connected. I don't think it's the same issue because this is a spam filter as when like new accounts are set up. Like Esther's account was set up and like everybody tried to email her for a while and realized that like they had to open her account to external email addresses in order to reach her. So we've had like a series of issues that IT knows about, and this is one of them that the spam filter basically recognized the newsletter or saw a newsletter at belchertown.org, which is the email address we're like sending from, but it's like faked through the email service, Constant Contact. And so it flagged it and thought that like, okay, somebody was trying to like do a phishing scam or something like that. And so it immediately shut it down for anybody in the town staff. So we should be able to just simply whitelist the address, which means any emails that come from newsletter@belchertown.org would just get a free pass through this filter.
Got to give them permission.
Yep. But it seems like it's going to be a little bit harder than that.
Yeah, a little bit more challenging.
So hopefully we'll have it resolved by the next issue. But for now, nobody in town is going to receive, or nobody in town staff is going to receive the newsletter
Unless they opt to subscribe with their personal email address.
Yeah.
Right. If anybody using a @belchertown.org email address will not receive it. Yeah.
I'm just going to say security issues.
Sure enough, yeah.
It's called spoofing.
Huh?
The issue's spoofing.
Yeah.
The servers think that someone's spoofing is pretending to be Belchertown, and they're blocking it, saying this isn't really Belchertown.org trying to email, they're spoofing.
Yeah.
There are just too many terms for things.
Yeah.
Is it available online? Can somebody?
It is.
Okay, here it is.
Yes. But I think Evelyn can go over that because we've added that section. So I'll let you carry it away from there.
I'm going to want your notes on this because I'm just going to use those notes rather than try to follow this.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'll give you this. Yeah.
All right. So as of this morning, we have 218 subscribers to the newsletter. And so now when there's new subscribers, they get a copy of the May 1st issue, and then a welcome email too. There were a few errors that came up after the newsletter went out. So the viewfinder was under the wrong category. It was put under communication, town communications or community communications, but should have been town communications. So that'll be fixed for the next one. The Memorial Day information, we corrected the dates. Allegra corrected the dates. So now anyone who signs up going forward will get the dates that we're assuming they are. But we
So did
haven't-
you hear from Charlie? Has that been confirmed yet? Because I don't
No.
have any emails from Charlie or Melissa saying that those dates have actually been confirmed.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet. And the last I heard was that nothing has been booked for it. So it doesn't, I
Yeah.
don't know if it's going to be done.
Do you wanna take a step back and explain the whole issue for everybody who hasn't, for everyone who hasn't been involved in those emails?
Yeah, so I don't remember there's a Memorial Day event going on and the dates were put as like the 17th and the 18th, but they should be the 25th and the 26th to match Memorial Day. So Allegra updated the newsletter for going forward, but we're not sure what the dates are yet, and they don't have it scheduled. So
I checked with Melissa, because Charlie's been out and no one's actually reserved any of the town spaces for it when we talked last.
Oh, okay, because she
So-
sent me an email indicating that there was a parade starting from here on the 10th, 10 o'clock on the 26th. And then at 11 o'clock on the common, the normal would happen. That was to BCTV. So,
That's good.
but nothing's been scheduled, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, and this was, I think Melissa and I talked Tuesday or Wednesday. This week's kind of a blur at this point. And nothing had actually been scheduled, so.
Yeah, and she thinks she's going to do the quadrant thing.
Yeah, we had included the Quabbin thing in the newsletter because that was information that Charlie had provided.
Well, there's a website connected to that, and the website had the dates recorded. for the Quab. It was like from the Quabbin side of things. So we knew at least that date was correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Charlie, you saw the 26th.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Alright.
So for archive and past issues, at the bottom of the newsletter page on the website, there is both PDF and web links to old ones. One question that came up when Allegra and I were talking yesterday is how long do we need to keep the PDFs or even the web links out there? Like the PDFs can probably be out there for a while, but like I don't know how long Constant Contact keeps the link to it. So how long do we have to keep it on the website for?
So in my past history working with Constant Contact, like I used them for 10 years straight and my links were good the entire 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've changed that policy in like the last 9 months. But that's my previous
I
experience.
mean,
with
would
them.
there be a reason to not keep them live? And if they go bad, then if they go dead, they'll go dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. My understanding is 2 years is the legal limit for how long we have to keep an archive for. And after that 2 years, they actually suggest we remove and destroy things so that it's not available and can't be used against us legally. But yeah, 2 years.
Okay.
Does anyone know, can they be searched by subject?
I don't believe so. No. Yeah. Currently, it's just a link to a PDF and a link to the web page. On the web page, I believe the PDF and the web page, you can do a word search
Within the,
You can.
within. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can do at least that. So like if you're looking for like fire department, you can do a word find and look for fire department and get results. So
Emily, do you know when they put the PDF of the newsletter on the website, if they confirm that the PDF passed an ADA check?
I do not know.
All right, I'm gonna do that and I'll let you guys, if it's a problem, I'll let you guys know.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
you know,
Sorry, go ahead.
one suggestion I would make is that at the top of the page, I would put current issue. Because you have the May one down there as past issue at the bottom.
Mhm.
So anybody who can't get the news, like let's say the town employees who want to look for it, I think it'd be good to put the current issue right at the very top of the page. So it's the
That's a good
first
idea.
thing we see. And then as a new one comes out, you can move it down to
Mhm.
past issues.
That's a really good idea.
Of course it is.
Question that Allegra came up with. So because of the date issue with the Memorial Day thing, she has two different versions. She has the one that was sent out on May 1st and now the one that's going out. Do we have to keep the archive of the original version that was sent out on May 1st and like have both of them on the website?
I don't
that's a very
think so. I would only have the one that has the correct information on the website. And I think like going forward, like if you ever have to issue a correction, you put up the correct version.
Because yeah, you're correcting erroneous information.
You do not delete the original on Constant Contact.
Right.
That should stay as is, with any edits to it, but you don't have to list the old version on the website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then just a couple miscellaneous things. Ed came up with a suggestion to have the fire log in the newsletter. So Kate got some information from the fire department, and we're gonna put that in going forward. And then the promotion in the Sentinel.
Yep.
It has not been posted yet, even though Allegra did submit it to them. We didn't see it last week and we didn't see it again this week. So we were wondering if maybe Kate could submit it for us. And then if Kate is able to submit it, then Allegra wants to change some information that was sent to them.
Yeah, why don't you send me an email or have Allegra send me an email about that when you guys have a chance, and then I can get that going for you.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank
I
you.
guess one of the things be interesting, has anybody from the Sentinel signed up as a subscriber?
I
Is
haven't
there-
looked,
Is
but
there
I
a
don't.
Turley, is there a Turley.com? That'd be one thing, it would make sense for them to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that would be their source for information. Just look for an email address that's Turley.com and see if, you know.
Turley.com. Okay.
Well, we can look that up quick. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's looking at it at the same time I am. It's like a race to see who can get there first.
And the Gazette,
Yeah.
and you'll probably see,
Just auto sign up the like info at gazette.net.
Nah, you can't,
No.
they do.
I know.
but you can't do that.
So there's no one with a Turley email address that's signed up yet?
Hmm.
And what's the Hampshire Gazette? Is it Hampshire Gazette? I always forget that one.
GazetteNet.com.
GazetteNet, that's right.
Yeah. And MassLive.com is.
No GazetteNet,
Okay.
but
Well,
no Mass Live. So just places to keep
First
working
issue.
on. Yep.
Yeah.
And then just the last few things, we're going to use the May 2025 issue as like a template going forward. So it should be a lot easier to put the newsletter together going forward. There is a new form on Civic Plus that we're going to use for submissions now instead of the Google Doc. And then Allegra wanted to draft up some newsletter submission policies. So she's gonna find some from a couple other towns and newsletters and compare them and kind of start working on that.
If she doesn't get good results for that, like doing searches online, let me know and I can put out a call on the Massachusetts Communicators listserv and see if
Okay.
anybody's willing to submit copies of those for us.
Awesome. That was all I have in the newsletter.
Okay. Yep. That's
Thank you.
I
covered
did,
everything that Allegra sent as well.
I did want to say, like, kudos to you guys. Your open rate was 83%. That is
Awesome.
like unheard of in a
That's
digital
huge.
newsletter. That is amazing. Like, you guys should be like screaming like victory for that one. Like,
Is the committee gonna take them out to dinner?
if we had the money,
If we had the money, yeah.
we totally should. I could maybe bring you a bottle of seltzer next time or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like floored, and I was like so happy for you guys. So
And those are the sort of stats that should be getting back to the select board. That sort of stuff. So at some
Sure.
point in time, give them a report.
83% open rate.
What does that mean?
It means that 83% of the people that received the newsletter opened it.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's that tech talk that gets me every time.
Yep. Although that would include all the people from Belchertown.org that couldn't open it.
Correct.
So it might
So,
have been better.
so it would have been better,
It
yeah.
would have been 100% probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's huge. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Proofing open rate, you're just drowning me.
Professionally, my company gets like a 36% open rate. So like,
Wow.
it's not
That's-
good.
Mine was 28, but that was high for my industry standards. Like our industry standard was 17.
Most people don't
We're
open
gonna Track
emails.
that, I guess, over the.
And
yes.
Constant Contact will track that for us.
Yeah.
They create great information in there.
Open rates, click-through rates, click to open rate. Yep.
How long they spent
A view
on
is 30
things?
seconds, you know.
Huh?
A view is 30 seconds, you
That's right.
know.
All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns about the town newsletter?
Great job.
Yeah.
Great job.
Already looking forward to the next one. Okay, let's go with branding updates. I've asked Ed to share his screen. I also know that for recording purposes, if anybody was watching this later, I don't know if the recording will show the shared screen. So I apologize if you haven't seen it.
I think it does.
I think it does.
It does, okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's good. Let's see if we can make this bigger.
I think hide everyone will do what you want as well.
Yes, there we go. Okay, so just before our last meeting, we were sent a design file by a locality, our designer that we hired, And their task was to give us 3 different unique designs. Sort of the direction was, nature, agriculture, community, and members of the committee really liked sort of like open flowing designs, both kind of sketched and a little more sharper images. We also asked that whatever image that we do, we sort of be able to, it needs to be a little dynamic so that it can be like both square shape, both, landscape shape, so that we can use it in different ways for different purposes.
You need to easily be able to have it in a black version and a white version.
Yep, that's another great point. And so, it needs to be versatile, because who knows what we end up using this for? T-shirts or decals on the side of vehicles or whatever else, So these are the 3 that we got, and we'll go through them and we'll talk about them individually real quick. I don't want to spend too much time on this because there's a whole other recording from our committee that you, if wanted to, could go and watch, where we all discuss and argue all the fine points of these designs. But these are what we had. I will say this one right here was the most preferred design, with the exception that the building on the right very much looks like a church steeple. It is not. It's the Clapp Library or a similar version of it. But there is many people within the group were like, we can't have a religious icon on our logo. That would not fly.
So what would happen if you just took the weather vane off?
It still looks like a church.
It still very much looks like a church steeple.
I also did. I got kind of geeky on it last night, because we had very little time to digest them before the meeting, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of got geeky on it last night. So I went down a rabbit hole to see how many towns in Massachusetts use a steeple in their logo, and it was 40 something of them. And I was like, well,
the 300 plus.
Yeah.
It's not very unique. Yeah.
That's not unique, and that alone, even if you want to argue, yes, we want to have a religious symbol on there, that you also have the argument that it's not unique.
See, our argument would be it's not a religious symbol. It's a symbol of the fact that we had a meeting house and became a town. You see it as a church. I see it as a political statement.
Well, to be fair, it's not entirely what you and I think. It's what people who are trying to come into Belchertown think,
I do understand that. But I go much more to the historical version of this thing versus the religious version of this thing.
Yeah, but see, any logo that you have to explain, it's not a good logo.
I think you have to explain all logos, to be
No,
honest
you
with you.
don't. Yeah.
Because, even the one that you think you understand, there are hidden symbols and messages in a lot of them.
Sure.
That's fair.
So we everybody liked the sharpness of this. We liked the way that the everything curved around Belchertown. There is some back and forth about the lettering itself. If you look at just the font used for Belchertown, it's a little too whimsical, a little difficult to read. But all in all, we kind of liked it. So this is going to go back. We're going to see 2 new versions of this with.
They wanted to get rid of the ocean feel too, right?
Yes, we talked about less ocean, more water.
Right. Yeah, we didn't want too many waves because there's not waves at the Quabbin, or the beach. It's just
a 60-mile-an-hour wind pushing.
Right. So, some of the ideas for a new building could be, some of the example it off of the Cold Spring Orchard barn.
And I checked, and there are no current logos in the state that have barns in them.
Really?
Yes.
That's actually very surprising. So there's the barn idea. There is the water tower idea. There is the gazebo had a lot of support.
Sam was mentioned once or twice, the Civil War monument, I think.
Yes, he was.
Yep, and the cannon there. The spillway over to the Quabbin was mentioned, although I don't know how we're going to.
I think someone said that's technically in Ware.
It's technically in Ware, yeah, so it wouldn't really be ours.
But if I understand correctly, you guys sent a lot of images to this designer to look at and think about.
Yes.
You've watched the meeting, haven't you?
I monitor your meetings for BCTV to make sure they go.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So that's where that one's going to be at. If you want to scroll down and this.
Before I do I'd like to say I'm opposed to the water tower.
I am too.
I think that-
I'm not a big fan, yeah.
It's
I
not
think
gonna
that's,
win.
I think that's stupid.
It's not gonna win, it's just a statement.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's gonna
Do you
go
want to
with the
keep
water
going?
tower.
Yeah, you can keep going through this. There's a full explanation of everything. We will, we should have a link to it. Actually, it's,
We'll talk
you
about
can, well,
that.
you can go to, it'll be on, the Belchertown branding project page to, with all this stuff. We need to get that up there. So this is the next one.
I had Nate rolling in the meeting when I said those look like pizza slices.
Oh, I agree. I think, what is this, Antonio's?
I didn't see that at first. It's supposed to be the spokes of a carriage wheel, right? And the gaps in between the spokes.
Right. And she also mentioned it reflects the arch in the clap.
And exactly, it reflects the arch in the library. So there is some precedence for that kind of design. But yeah, I mean, once you got to like, okay, like trying to talk about it, you're like, the wave in the blue slice, right? So you start getting to that pizza side of things, and you know, a lot of people were like, I don't want to have a logo that is too much with too familiar with pizza, because we have too many pizza places in
But the
town.
thought on this was that you could take each one of those little pieces of the slice and use it to identify a certain.
Well, that is what I said, is that it is versatile more than the others, that you could take that triangle and use it for each, you know, so you could have Belchertown and then underneath it like police department, and have some sort of police icon in a triangle, and it would, you know, it would all fit back together. But yeah, and then this is more of like the hand-drawn style that we talked about and everything. You know, I think a lot of people didn't like the wave because, again, we're not near an ocean where, you know, the Quabbin is more lake with no waves or anything.
So this is purely quick curious. How much of this is clip art and how much of this is original?
That's actually something we brought up to her, and someone had mentioned in that meeting that they were afraid it looked like clip art.
There was Nicole, yeah. So you know, this one was sort of in the middle, with a lot of people not liking it, and some people being like, okay, it's all right. You know, myself being that it was like, all right, it's growing on me. Like, it's not the worst logo I've ever seen.
It doesn't bang. It doesn't.
But it doesn't stand out, right?
And that was something else we brought up too. Like, the colors in this are very blah. Like, it's missing that pop of color like you had in the
Slide down,
first
show
one
some
with the
of the-
I
steeple.
mean, with the church.
Some of the, I was gonna say that page back up too. Yeah, so like that one. You know, so there's some like versatility to like how it can be used and stuff like that, and pulled apart. So, you know, it played nice that way. But you want to go to the last one, and then there's this one.
Yeah.
Which everybody was very confused by. It looks like a bank logo. There are no windmills in town. I guess the windmill is, I think that would be.
She explained it, but I can't like remember. Like, it was so like,
I think it was like a wind vane on top of the library.
yeah, it was so ethereal that like, yeah, there's a wind vane on top of the library, but it doesn't look anything like that.
No,
Right.
they're the cone-shaped wind vanes with the vanes
Right.
on the side. Anyway,
So it just did not resonate with anybody in the group. Yeah, I think the nicest thing they said about it was what I said, was that I like that it was like, you know, at least with the curves, you have like the mountainous and the dip for the ocean, and that, like, you know, you kind of get that reflected in even a black and white view of it. And, you know, it is kind of more sharp and modern, but it's just not.
You guys would bitch if you threw it out immediately.
Yeah, people tore it apart. So this is nowhere near what the final design is going to be. So anyway, that's we went over that. We're going to get 2 more designs. Hopefully we get a few design
This
ideas.
is on Monday or Wednesday?
This happened Wednesday. We're hoping to get a few more design ideas before our next meeting on Wednesday, so that we can provide some feedback and get final designs on Wednesday. After this coming Wednesday, we're basically time's up, because we need to get these to the Wayfinding group for the signage in town. So,
We're gonna do a survey though.
so we're gonna do it's gonna be real quick. It's
3 days.
Wednesday. We're gonna have where the committee's gonna get together, take a look at them, any last minute feedback. We take that last minute feedback the next day, put it up on social media, put something up on the website for people to vote, get some stuff to the town hall, the senior center, and the library for people to vote. We give them from Thursday to Sunday to vote.
So Saturday, Sunday.
Yep. And then
Library's open, senior center's not, just saying.
over the
Yeah.
weekend,
Yeah,
but
we
we'll
know.
have the other
We're also
2
gonna
days.
drop them off at Christopher Heights too, for
Yeah.
people to vote there as well.
And Monday at noon, we'll have another meeting where we will essentially tally the votes, see what the town preferred,
Okay.
and then use that to have our final discussion on which of the 2 designs we want to bring to the select board that night. And this hopefully have the select board vote on it.
So the town isn't gonna say this is, like, we're not going with whatever the town votes for, we're using it as, to see where people are, to gauge interest, and
Right.
like, if it comes down to be like a very like split vote, then like obviously the committee is gonna make a decision one way or the other.
You're reserving that right for the final say.
Right. So I'll switch back to that. Yeah, so that's where that's going, and then we'll finalize the digitalization of the town seal after that, and we have the contract with the designer goes until I think July 1st.
Yeah, we still have to do the full branding guides and everything
So,
else
yeah.
too with it.
Once the logo is picked on, the colors, everything, we'll do branding guides. Yeah, and use that to change how we brand the town going forward.
I want to see a heron.
A heron?
Somebody had suggested in the feedback bears, because there's so many bears.
A great blue or a green?
Great blue, right? The green is kind of flat, but great blue.
We have blues
Any
hanging out
reason
like
why
those.
a heron and not
I know
like
we
a?
Yeah,
We do have
yeah, we do.
around like, well, sweet
Yeah.
fishes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha. I was gonna say any particular reason why a heron and not like a
I
a
like-
robin or a is that spoonbill or
Because Mark wants it.
because Mark wants it. All right.
It's a personal preference.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's what we got. Any questions, comments, anything from us? Okay. It's personal level, it feels incredibly rushed. We thought we'd have till the end of June to get all of this resolved. But the wayfinding project, the designers and the engineers from the wayfinding project came back to us and was like, nope, you need to get this to us by this time,
Really?
or otherwise that puts their dates back too far and that we lose their contract. And the wayfinding, yeah,
So not wayfinding committee or anything, but the Stantec or whatever. it is.
Stantec, yeah, yep. So,
Okay, so their drop dead is May 19th.
yes, actually, they want that, or they want it by the 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Anything, speaking of wayfinding,
Well, evidently, we're gonna have a meeting sometime after we get to see the finalized logo,
yeah, hopefully.
but we haven't had anything scheduled yet, so there's no update.
All right. Belchertown.org.
Yeah,
I don't have anything.
nope, I don't have much either. It's knock on wood, it's working the way it's supposed to be working. And
No movement on .gov then yet.
We've got to figure out when we're going to do a training. Probably sooner than later.
yeah, that's gonna come up in my communication manager update too.
Who are we gonna do the training for? Is it just the committees or anybody?
We have been asked to do it for everyone. They said we could take the auditorium and we just, whoever shows up, grab a seat, bring it over. Yeah.
You were asking Esther to tape this also, right? Or we're talking about having Esther tape this or something?
Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea to just have that, just so we can like,
That
Here
way
you go.
you have the training someplace where you don't necessarily have to be in the room.
Well, we could do it as a go-to-meeting
we could,
and just record it that way.
yeah.
That's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, and
I
then
mean, we'd have people in the room, but
It's
We'll
not
do
as clean, it's definitely not as clean looking
Well-
up all those screens. Just saying.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, we don't have all these people on there, but we do it. And just like I shared the screen, so the only two screens are the presenter and the shared screen.
Oh, okay, I'm with you now.
And that's the recording of it, is
So
that way
you're
to
sort
do
of
it.
doing a dry recording, nobody really in the room, just you two, or you?
No, we could do it in the auditorium,
Yeah,
all right? We do it as a go-to meeting too, though, but that way, look, we don't even have to have the presenter. We share the screen that we're showing everybody in the room,
okay,
and go-to meeting is recording it.
and you like this, or you were with nobody's visible, I'm with
Right.
you, I'm catching
Yeah,
up, thank you.
yeah.
And then that's the recording that we can post
That would
online.
be good, that'd be great.
I would say allow people, if not encourage people to bring a laptop,
Mhm.
try to follow along. Maybe we can set up some tables.
Yep.
And I would say during the training session, we say, listen, you can either follow along or not. We're going to move forward with everything we're going to say. And then for half an hour to an hour afterwards, we'll walk around the room and answer questions. But I say, like, get through do the walkthrough of this, how to do everything. And then, because I know there's going to be
Yep.
tons of questions from people. There always is at any training thing. And that's fine. We want questions. We want people to figure it out. But it's going to interrupt the flow of any recording that we take.
Yeah.
So get the recording done,
You're not
and then
gonna, you don't wanna edit this thing, you want to be.
right. This will be a no questions.
Save your
Yeah.
questions for the end.
Yeah.
And I
So
was kind of wondering too, and we can talk about this, of maybe periodically doing, a help session in the auditorium. We're sitting in there for half an hour. If
Yep.
you have a problem, come on in, sort of thing. But we can talk about that, because that's obviously gonna take time. Yeah, I'm on board with it.
okay. I'm just gonna save what I just said, because otherwise it'll disappear and I'll have to think of it again. Okay. Anything else at belchertown.org? Questions, comments?
Now we're into.
All right. What time are we at? 7:47.
I bet it's 8:47 before we get out of here.
Kate hasn't gone yet.
If so, Kate's talking to an empty room.
All right, Kate, you're up.
All right, I'm up. So there's a lot of different things to update with. So we can start first with the rec brochure for the summer. I had mentioned in our last meeting that there's going to be a QR code on the back of that for people to sign up for newsletters. And silly me, anytime I've ever had something printed, I've gotten a hard proof of it first. And color me surprised when they didn't hard proof this and they printed the old version and not the latest file I sent them.
So what happens when you scan them?
All of those work, but there's no QR code on there for the newsletter. There's also like a whole bunch of other corrections I made. So like they printed an old file and they didn't print the new one, and nobody told me that they printed it, and the rec just showed up. I was like, hey, the brochures look awesome. Here you go. And I'm like, that's not the last one I sent them. Is this our proof copy? And they're like, no. I was like, oh, okay. So that was like a learning moment. I've made a note of that for future printing, just to make sure that we're calling out that we want hard copy proofs.
What was the company?
Amherst Copy.
They know better than that.
I know they do.
Yeah, but what were they told to do? I mean, what was it?
Some people can, like you can tell them, I don't want a hard copy proof.
Never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like almost always it's a good practice and they
Okay.
hand them
I
out,
thought that
but
was standard procedure.
Were they sent the final proof?
yes,
Okay, so Amherst got it.
yes,
I was
Amherst
wondering
has
if
it.
this is a rec department.
No, it's not the rec, it was Amherst that did it.
I feel like they owe you a whole bunch of new ones then.
They might, they honestly might, it's.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that. So that's not as awesome as it should be, because Linda, I had some more conversations after that, changed a couple things around, added more QR codes on the back. So there's that. And then obviously the other big thing that's been happening was the Prop 2.5. So got out some social media posts on it. Created some videos on how to like calculate your tax. Those are all on the website. I was also able to get on the website the select board's vote that that they had voted unanimously. I had them approve the text for that. That was added to the website as well too.
Can I interrupt real fast?
Of course you can.
All right, so Prop 2.5 social media posted, you have to go through the whole rigmarole of approval through the.
Yes,
select board.
absolutely.
So,
And there's still one post that they have not approved yet because there's some debate on the graphic design of it.
okay, so it adds time to the whole process.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
So yes, there is one graphic that they have not approved yet. They were given 2 versions of it and they have not come to a conclusion on either of those. So then pivoting from the website, and obviously this is going to come up during the audit process too. And thank you, Chris, by the way, for aligning those and everything else for me.
That's right. I just remembered. I did do some Belchertown.org work.
Yep. And I'm gonna put that at the very end of all this. So, so the website, we still have, I brought this up 2 weeks ago in the meeting, about how we have the tax lien files on the website and they're editable PDFs. And then the PDF that was uploaded, that says, make sure you pay your tax liens is not ADA compliant, that those issues are still outstanding. I had said, we need to fix this. I was told we're too busy. And I said, we really should fix this. And then that was the last that I heard. So I don't know how many times I should keep nagging. You know, with it being a new position, I'm not sure like how best to insert myself at times.
The supervisor to help you out in situations like that.
Yes, and he deferred back to the people that were telling me they didn't have enough time.
Then you're done.
Yeah.
Then you're done.
So, but as you're reviewing our website in the future, if you want to keep an eye out for things like this.
Well, no, I mean, it's definitely an issue because
Yeah.
there's a lot of that, you know. So,
Right, but if she's not getting, support's probably the wrong word, but if she's not getting the job done through her manager, she has to just, she can't.
All right.
I know he has a lot of stuff on his plate and I feel bad nagging. I
I mean,
nag
yeah,
at home enough. I
I
don't
mean,
wanna
we have
nag
to
at work
consider,
too.
we have to consider that too. It's not that
Yes.
Steve, I think, is opposed, is to pick his battles, you know,
Yeah.
pick and choose. It's
For
not like,
sure.
it's not like he's being a roadblock to you. It's,
I'm sorry if I suggested that, that wasn't what I was trying to suggest.
Yeah.
No, I didn't think you were suggesting that for the record. So we do have things like that are still happening on the website. We're still working through issues on the website of documents being scanned and uploaded. So another thing to be watching out for is the website review is being done. A lot of that stuff.
Who does a website review?
That's
we
point
collectively.
13C on our agenda.
Yeah.
We'll get there at some
Not
point.
happening yet.
Not
Okay,
happening yet.
Okay, sorry.
So do they not everybody have the scanners on their desk that does the OCR now, or that the plan that they had?
I don't know how well that's working for people or if they understand how to use it.
Was there any training provided?
As far as I understand, there was some training provided and there was a website provided that tells you how to do it. But I'm not sure how this is still happening because people will literally like create PDFs, flat PDFs and say they're ADA compliant to my face. And I'll be like, it isn't. And I'll be like, but it's a PDF. And I'll be like, but it's an image PDF. And they'll be like, what does that mean?
Gotcha.
Well, you know, what's a spoof? So, you know.
Well, I mean, people don't understand that they can just export it from Microsoft Word. You know, they're creating a document in Word, printing it, scanning it. So they're giving themselves extra work.
Right.
And I'm kind of befuddled at why they don't understand that. You know,
Yeah, I think like a basic level of training would be really helpful for these things. Like when we were working on some of the Prop 2.5 stuff, actually the stuff for last week's meeting, I had to put together the presentation that they put up on the screen, you know, the one with the green border on it and everything. I put that together. And I was working with the files that Jill had sent me. And there was a lot of back and forth to it because she was sending me the PDFs because she wanted to catch the static image of that chart. But like the grids in the chart were like cutting off words. So there was a lot of time lost in going, Jill, you need to redo this. Jill, can you redo this when this word's cut off? Jill, you didn't you know, this one isn't formatted with $signs, but everything else you sent me is formatted with $signs. Like,
I mean, that could be the
Just-
sort of thing too. Maybe we build it into the training we're gonna do, the website training we're gonna do. That, you know, PDFs that go up on the site need to be compliant. That's just another component of the training, you know?
that's a great idea.
Yep.
And I'm happy to like, to like do that part of the course for you if you want. It's
And
totally up to you. And we can sit beforehand too and kind of outline some of the different tech struggles that I've seen.
I mean, that'd be great. I mean, I think it's important too, we understand why people are doing this. Because I mean, this whole thing that I just mentioned about Microsoft Word versus exporting as PDF, there may be a very good reason why they're not doing it, that we just don't understand, you know?
Yeah.
So it might just take a little archaeological digging saying, okay, why are you doing it this way? What's the reason? Is it just nobody has shown you, or is there some very good reason?
Yeah,
that
like
we
is your
don't-
computer crashing every time you do it or
Yeah,
something?
Right.
You know, there could be, like I said, a very good reason. I just don't understand, you know?
And we definitely have our share of like computer struggles, and I had to like update a whole bunch of computers recently because everyone that was on the older versions of Office, their computers were crashing anytime you try to access the calendar. And like people just like couldn't work for like days because of it.
But you were updating them?
No, I have the latest version of Office.
No, you were updating other people's computers, I think it was a question.
No, I didn't.
Kevin was.
Kevin did. Kevin
Gotcha. You
changed it.
said I.
Yeah,
So I thought
sorry.
you were
No,
like actually doing
no,
it, which is-
sorry.
Yeah.
I being the town. My apologies.
the royal I.
The royal eye. So last night, as in myself, went was a guest at the Ag Commission's meeting. They had asked me to join them because they are like, why is the town not in the future? And they're like, why do we not have an email address for the Ag Commission? I was like, you guys can have one. I'll get you one. And then they're like, why? What do we do with our Facebook page? Like, you have a Facebook page? I'm like, yes, and we want to do like so many more awesome things with it. I'm like, that's awesome. You should. Let's do that. So we started talking about like, them, and they're like, we want to edit our website and fix our members on there. I'm like, you guys are amazing. Thank you. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, we want training. I'm like, we can do that too. Like, you can
So
have
the
all of
Ag Commission?
Yes,
I've been
the
in
Ag
touch
Commission.
with them. Giving them training.
They approached us before.
Yeah. They actually have one of the most advanced pages on the site.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. And it may be that they've had a couple of people leave the committee recently.
Ha.
So that could be what it is. They also
Turnover.
talk like they want to make sure that like everybody on their Facebook page, like right now, their Facebook page is one person that's on a committee and then people that are not on it anymore. So they want to get like a better policy in place for, making sure they have redundancies on their Facebook page, and
Sure.
training and all that stuff too. So it was a great meeting.
So for things like that, I mean, and this may just be the exception, should there be a link to their Facebook page on their website page?
And I told them that they should do that. We actually did talk about that. I said, yes, you should do that.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense that, yeah.
Because they have like a lot of great ideas of stuff that they want to put out there for community engagement and everything else. Like they were like brimming full of stuff. And then they said like, well, it somehow came up about doing paper minutes and turning in minutes in paper and submitting agendas handwritten. And they're like, why do we have to do this? And I'm like, that is not the preferred way to do it. They're like, I'm like, typed is definitely the best way to do it. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, emailed is even better.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's awesome.
Well, see, that's on Terry. She's gonna let people know that,
I was told by the clerk's office that they prefer to get it via email. I mean, she is telling people.
Well, that's
Yeah.
wild too, because I've
She
been
only
told.
she only told you that because we mentioned it to her.
I
That
had no
you,
idea
that you didn't know that.
Well,
I
the,
did not know. I was handing in paper copies.
well, and the AGCO is the group that I'm always told that there's still committees out there that hand in handwritten minutes, right? So it's going to be tough to get everybody into the future because there's still committees doing this, and this is the AGCO that's like, we don't want to handwrite these anymore. So
Yeah, it was a great meeting last night. It was like so well run. They were done within an hour. Like they had the whole thing planned out. I'm like, this is like an amazing meeting. Like, thank you guys for inviting me. Like, this is great.
I mean, to me, it should,
Run an hour meeting.
I mean, to me, it should be, if somebody shows up at Terry's office with a handwritten thing, that they say, we prefer this electronically instead of just taking it.
Yes.
They should be saying,
So then their last request, so they talked about like getting the word out. So like they have a number of different struggles going on with projects that they're working on. They're getting like some shade from our senators, like not fulfilling like things that they said they would do. So they were looking to get a couple articles written to be posted on the website about some of the stuff that they've been doing. So I was here looking at my 2 resident authors, to see if anybody wants to talk to the AGCO and write some stuff. I see Mark shaking his head, yes.
Sure.
Awesome.
Well, they reached out to me a while ago about getting something online, and they asked me how they would go about doing it. And I presented multiple options and said, I can help you post it once you've given me the copy, right? Like this is not going to be an I write this for you. This is a you write it.
Sure.
And then
They're looking for a front page thing to really get more of like an article kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
well,
I said, you guys are welcome to write it. I said, we've got a couple guys that are really good at writing if you want to talk to them. I said, but if they're not available, you'll have to do it. They know that.
Rate $50 a page.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I mean, like I would very much prefer that we don't get like this is one of those like Ed's usual point where like let's hand him a fishing rod instead of a fish, right? Like, and that was the point of the emails that I sent to them previously. Was like, you send me whatever you want. I even told them about GPT. I was like, there's a free version. Put in what you want it to write, and like it'll help. It'll give you a draft and everything else. And they were like, yeah, great, excellent. And I was like, okay. And then I haven't heard anything about it.
They also said they never got any training on the website too. So like I said, it might be people not on the committee anymore. It's been a hot minute.
And who knows, maybe it was somebody who has left that emailed me and then they left and it dropped off. Yeah. Okay, so we need to get in touch with them.
Yeah, so we definitely need to get in touch with them. They have a lot of things they want to do. It was like a real eye opener about these handwritten minutes that we keep hearing about. So that was huge. Yeah. And then like I had mentioned earlier, in our meeting that I've had, time coming back to me where I've been able to like kind of start digging myself out of these holes, with the social media stuff and the events and everything else too. And I have all the information from Melissa as of Wednesday, to get the town report done. It's due the 16th, so probably going to be in a huge hole again after that.
The annual town report, both.
Yes. Yep. I've said a lot. That's really not good public speaking. I probably should go for a brush-up course. And then the last thing,
Eye contact.
I am making eye contact.
You are, all right.
The last thing that I wanted to talk about is, how you guys have been helping me, and obviously, like, I hugely appreciate that. And Joanne and I had a meeting about that, discussing like all the things that have to get done that I just don't have time to do, and how you guys are supporting me. And she had originally suggested like asking you guys to like track how much time you're doing things, but I'm not a huge fan of that, because what takes one person an hour is going to take someone else 2 hours, and then it could take me 3 hours or 15 minutes. Like, it's not a good barometer. So I was hoping that we can either add a line item into the agenda, which already has 26 points to it, or 16 points to it, or if we just want to tack it on in the communications manager update, just kind of listing in this meeting, so that way it gets recorded in the minutes and we can look at the minutes going forward, just of any projects that you've helped me with in the last 2 weeks or a month between meetings.
Do you need time associated with that?
No, I think not having time with it is a good way to go, because then,
Once again, back to your point.
yeah, but also I can be like, these are the things that they did. If I had done them, I estimate they would have taken me this time, because in the end, it's essentially how long it would take me to do something, not somebody else.
because I like the latter because I don't want to track my time.
No, and I don't think it's fair to ask you guys to track your time either as volunteers. I think it's just an extra layer of burden.
But no, I think it's a good idea to document the things that are getting done, but that you don't have the time to do.
100% support that, because and you guys are absolutely right that, and we've talked about this offline, that when it comes time to approve more hours for the role and to make the role full time, or even when it just comes to the end of your contract, then they're saying like, okay, well, did we actually improve things? Did we need this person? We can say, well, not only did they put in 19 hours a week, I hope you don't mind me saying they, it's just, I'm talking to the the communication manager role. But on top of that 19 hours, there was spillover to other volunteers who helped us do stuff, and whether or not we put that in hours or anything, but just say that like all these other projects happen to get done on the communications end. And I think that's going to be huge for defending this role, which, I honestly don't think it needs a whole lot of defending this far in, because we've seen so many great improvements that you've done, and that's, to your many efforts. But I have also heard rumblings of like, why are we spending more money on these roles? So, this will help all that out in the end.
Yeah.
And I think probably one of the biggest things too, I mean, we can list this, but is the newsletter. I mean, that really should be a function you're doing. It really should be, but there's no way it would happen if it wasn't for like an Emily.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Doing it,
Just like all the rec social media, like I could barely get the town stuff done. I couldn't support the rec right now too.
So, I mean, all that stuff goes into that list that you're just talking about of, stuff that is being done, but not being done by you.
Yeah, so if you want to decide, Chris, how you want to handle it going forward, like if you want to have it as part of the communications manager report, or if you want to give it its own bullet point in the agenda, that's totally up to you. I just want to make sure that we're creating space for it and making sure that we're recording it to find it in the future.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're okay with going through the meeting minutes, like at whatever intervals you need to collect this information, fair enough. Yeah, as long as you're okay with going through the meeting minutes to collect all that, then I'm okay with putting it into there instead of some other form of reporting. So yeah, we can add that.
So I guess
just tag it into the communication manager update.
Okay.
Makes sense, there you go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
So my last item, just to bring up before you guys share all the wonderful things you did to support the communication manager role, is I decided that going forward, I need to bring the select board and Steve up to date with how our website presence is growing, how our Facebook presence is going, how these numbers for the newsletter are growing, and start providing them with monthly reports. And I know that the first time I present them, I'm going to have to explain a lot of what the data means. And I'll probably end up having to put a document together that explains that for future reference, so I don't always have to hold hands going through them. But I think it's an important tool to see how things grow over time, knowing that at some point there's going to be setbacks, because that's always to be expected, especially as the Prop 2.5 stuff and the town meeting and everything dies off and people are less going to our Facebook page and less going to our website. But to understand, where our baseline is at some point, we're going to be figuring that out and putting together, measurable goals at some point that, we want to create, the website that is answering people's questions and getting people to the website and engaging with it. So.
And I think I don't know how, when or where or how, but all the stuff that's going on with Prop 2.5 right now, to me, is a sign of success of what you're doing, because we now have a much more engaged electorate out there because of the information they're getting. So all this controversy and dissension that's happening, which nobody likes that stuff, but also it's good because it's a sign of you're being successful in getting information out there. And I think that's an important point to make amidst all the stuff going on.
You made it in the minutes last time also.
Yeah. Well, do it again.
Yeah, I'll just put down ditto.
Ed gives another speech.
Okay.
So would you guys like to share the different things that you've done in the last 2 weeks to support?
At this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's the end of my report, if you will.
Sure, we'll go round table. I'll kick it off. I helped out with the /override page. There were some YouTube videos that you can see on there right now. Kate had some difficulty, and it was running to the end of her workday with getting the videos to show up side by side on desktop while stacked on mobile so that they were dynamic. I went in there. I tried doing it with some of the widgets real quick. Didn't work out.
Yeah,
so
I
had
tried
to
the
use
widgets
some
beforehand.
I
And
had
that's what
to
came to you.
I had to use some actual code in there to get it to work. But all in all, I know we're not doing time, but it took 15 minutes. It wasn't a big deal. So
You did coding.
I do code.
He does code.
I stopped at basic, but anyway, go ahead.
That's all I've got.
Okay. I've got some things that actually go outside the 2-week window, but they're mainly articles that I wrote for the website blog. I did the one on the grant for Tagil, did one on the Safer grant. Right now, the DPW transfer station is in the works. I've already interviewed Linda. It's been fine. No, actually, sorry, I'm sorry.
It's posted already.
Posted, I'm sorry, wrong one.
See, I
Wrong
took the
one,
image
wrong
for
one.
that.
Yeah, wrong one, sorry. That's the one that's been posted, the transfer station. The one in the work is Lake Wallace. They've been having vandalism down there. So I interviewed Louise Levy today on that
Who is
one.
that?
Louise Levy, she's a retired high school teacher. She's the leader of the Friends of Lake Wallace.
Oh,
Okay. She's the driving force behind everything down there, but that's why it happened. So I'm hoping, Kate, next week that we can post that one. You know, I should have it ready for next week on that. I did one on the Belchertown warrant articles, explaining the warrant articles. That was an interview with Steve, and then Terry reviewed it and made her corrections to that one. Kind of not related to you, but more to BCTV. I did some taping for BCTV of firefighter training, the foam training they've done at the school, and gave Lou the footage. Guess you're putting together a piece on that for BCTV.
Really? Okay,
That's what Esther told me.
okay, well, I guess I need to talk to Esther, because I was under the impression, we taped, it's a kind of a sidebar conversation. Peg and I taped the training session that went out there, and that we did that strictly for the chief. And I was not aware that BCTV was after anything, so I can work on that with Esther now that I'm aware.
Okay, that's what I was told, that you.
Well, I better talk to Esther.
Yeah, okay,
But I do have the video.
okay.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so I gave that footage to Lou on that one there, the training they did down at the state school. That's it. That's it.
I'm humbled by the amount of work you did.
Yeah.
But
So long.
To be fair, I don't know if any of it has been asked of Ed. Ed just does it. Right. He gets an idea and he runs with it.
He always asks if it's okay first, though.
Right.
Like,
Peg and I did five shows last week. Does that count?
Yeah.
And posted them. You're here now, and I couldn't translate your notes. There was nothing yellow in the memo you
So we'll
sent.
get to that.
hold on, we gotta
run
let
through
Mark
this.
finish his
I'm
his
sorry.
part.
I wrote an article on the demolition of the power plant for the state school. That's all I did.
That's still pretty cool.
But the
Where did-
stress that
did
you
it get
relieved me
posted?
of in doing that was huge, because it was like, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, and they're sending constant updates and tons of emails, and they're like moving, and I was like, Mark, can you help? Like, it's just so dynamic, I need to get this done, and Mark's like, yes, and it was done so fast and so accurately, and I was like, I could just like breathe. Like, I know it feels small to you, but it was like huge for me. Like,
I'm glad,
it really was.
honestly.
And that also made the website or whatever.
Thank you.
It will shortly. Steve reviewed it for feedback,
Got it, okay. So it's there.
and
Right.
you sent me the updated ones. I've got it. Yeah, it'll probably be posted on Monday.
oh, one of the things too, and again, I'm not blowing my horn here, guys, but I'm repurposing this stuff for the Sentinel. So they're republishing a number of the things I write for the town blog. I send it over to the Sentinel, and like they did the Safer grant this week, which is a big penny for the fire department getting it in there. I sent them the DPW transfer station one. Hopefully they'll run that one too. And I also want to send them the Lake Wallace one, get that run that too.
Right.
I mean,
So you're two-ferring them.
yeah, I mean, I'm figuring, why not repurpose it? And I tell Emily, the reporter there, that this is a blog post article, so she doesn't think I'm gaslighting her, and, she knows that it originally appeared here.
Yeah, and the one that Mark did, I'm gonna forward her a copy of it as well too,
Yeah.
because it's stuff that has to get out.
And I sent her pictures. She didn't use one on the Safer grant, but I also provided pictures too to use if they want to. I mean, she's been very good to me in terms of running whatever I send her way. So
Right.
I'm thinking just repurpose this stuff as much as we can.
saying now or later?
Well,
The minutes?
did you have anything?
Yeah, Emily did
No,
stuff
we're saying volunteer stuff. So.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know, I don't get, it's not volunteer for BCTV. I get a little bit of money for that, so.
Gotcha. Yeah, so not covered for gate. That's all right.
Emily?
We'll jump to Emily.
I guess the only thing I really do is like posting on the Instagram, but
Still very helpful.
It is still very helpful.
Newsletter.
I don't have to look at it because I know you're taking care of it for me.
Newsletter, you do
All the newsletter.
And the
yeah.
newsletter stuff.
Which should be communications manager, yep.
Newsletter recently, exclusively, I think.
So yeah, we've all had our hands and stuff.
Yeah. And to that end too, about the BCTV stuff, I've been working on better supporting BCTV. So anytime I create a graphic for the website or Facebook to like announce an event or something or save the date kind of thing, I'm just resizing it to fit with BCTV size too and forwarding it straight over to Esther to get into the rotation.
Oh, that's nice.
Good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it shows up as a slide on.
Yep, so it'll show up as a slide.
Okay. All right, excellent. Any other updates,
That is it for me.
questions, comments, concerns? No?
How do we find time to relax?
You're asking the guy with 2 kids. I don't know. Okay. Moving on. We'll keep this going. Future items pending, placeholders. No, you know what? We'll double back. We'll take care of the minutes really quick for you.
And I don't have a copy of them, and I have no idea what your amendments were, because yellow never showed up. All I got was blue.
Okay, sorry about that. Maybe I sent the wrong file.
I hope so.
I could send them to you after, but basically it was just there was a first piece that actually concerned today's meeting, so it wasn't related to the last meeting, so I deleted that. And then there were some notes that I don't think we talked about in detail at the end that I removed. But the rest was fine. So-
Oh, so you took out things that were not discussed?
Yeah, exactly, yeah,
Okay.
just the beginning and end. But if it's already approved or something.
No,
No.
Oh,
we're gonna
We
table it.
tabled it.
tabled it.
So I can send them out again to everyone with that change?
Uh,
What's the best way to do it?
if-
Sorry, I noticed it late.
If you just send them to me, I will incorporate them in the minutes after we make after we make a motion to accept your changes, as explained, I guess.
Okay.
All right. So I move that the minutes of, what was it, April 25 be accepted as amended. Need a second?
Second. Yep. Mark seconds.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Emily?
1, 2,
Thank you.
6.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Well, technically, Kate, you can't vote.
Yes, I can.
Ex officio?
You're ex officio,
Yeah, that's right.
so.
Why are you even here, really?
Why did I have to get sworn in then?
You're just forced to be here. That's what it means. You're just chained to the role.
She was funny when she was reading the thing. She's like, when your term ends, or when you don't have this job anymore.
Maybe you need to talk to Esther and find out how she's attending this meeting.
All right, moving along, future items pending. I don't think any of them are moving forward at the moment.
Nope, everything's on hold until 2.5.
Okay. Additional items for discussion, topics not reasonably anticipated by the chair.
I got one.
Yes, go ahead.
This is just this afternoon. I was emailing with Terry about the hybrid meeting rules. You know, have things changed, blah, 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 blah. Essentially, no, but I brought up this paragraph that some committees have been putting on their page about we're streaming as a courtesy, but if you really have an issue that needs to be brought before the committee, show up in person, is the gist of it. Which to me conflicts a little bit with some of the guidance from the law firm about you have to provide reasonable accommodation for other people. And I can send it around. I think we've got to figure out what it means. You know, if a meeting goes down, do we have to terminate the meeting? I mean, if GoToMeeting goes down, do we have to terminate the meeting because the public no longer has reasonable access to the meetings?
Yeah.
Whereas before, on the bottom of every minutes that's been, if it goes down, the meeting will continue. There's a
Right.
little paragraph down there.
So there's been a change to that.
And it's boilerplate that we haven't been putting on our agendas.
Yeah.
You know, and Terry said in her email to me, says, we're not the agenda police, so, you gotta do this.
I'm sorry, I don't do what?
Put that boilerplate on our agendas.
Yep.
And we send them out. So that's something Chris and I just brought it up this afternoon. So it's something we need to address and take a look at.
I mean, for us specifically, we need to make sure that boilerplate is on our agenda minutes.
Yeah,
But we also have to keep this down to one page, so does this mean?
we've been asked to, but if it,
Will the font get down to 8 points?
Oh, there's room.
there's a little room, we can make it small. I don't like making it smaller because of anybody that with disabilities and sight issues, but there's definitely some white space at the top of this that I can push.
They have that disclosure at the bottom of the select board agendas if you want to just copy that text over.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if we're copying the select board, we'll, no wrong,
Mhm.
But we'll look into see what the best writing should be and try to go with that.
So I thought I heard two statements there then. We need to put the boilerplate on, and we need to define reasonable accommodations.
Well, that's another point too, is what happens if GoToMeeting goes down during a meeting? Do we have to terminate the meeting or can we keep it going?
Okay.
Sort of thing. So we need to resolve that.
Do you need Steve to propose that question to council?
No, not yet.
Okay.
This just happened this afternoon.
Well, it's interesting because my actual belief was that if the go-to meeting goes down, you have 15 minutes to get it back up, or you have to cancel the meeting, right? Or if there's any major technical issues, that's my understanding. I swear I read it in some of the laws that came up with the hybrid meeting rules.
Okay, all right.
And I
I'll
feel
have to
like
look
that
to it.
came into effect during that meeting in the auditorium when we were having all those mic issues.
I actually stated it then that I was pretty sure that we had gone to 20 minutes and that we were supposed to cancel the meeting at that point. So,
And it also
but
raises.
that was the tri-board meeting, and I was like, I'm not going to be the one to stand up and say they have to cancel.
I'd like
Yeah.
to check for the forum.
Yeah.
I mean, it also raises the question of meetings that are totally hybrid.
Yeah.
What happens then? Somebody could come to this meeting and make a presentation to us. But if you're doing a totally hybrid meeting and somebody can't go online or doesn't want to go online, then we're not providing reasonable accommodation to that person. So it's just, again, it just came up this afternoon.
It's tricky too, because I think the rule is actually in place to allow full hybrid meetings. So if you're arguing that, then that defeats the law.
Yeah, because at
So-
AgCon last night, they brought up, because they have the Lansingburg trustee meeting tonight, and those are always fully remote because they involve the people out of Boston
Yeah.
and then people locally here. So those meetings are always fully remote.
So see, they don't have to be, they have to be in person.
No, it's not the Ag Commission. It's the Lamson Brook
Board of Directors.
Board of Directors.
Okay, so are they local?
No, there are people in Boston and there are people here.
Okay, but there are local people here.
Well, Amherst is here. the
Yeah,
North
there's
County is here.
more than one community here local.
Spread out, yeah.
But I mean,
But sort of like the branding committee, they have chosen to go remote.
which I don't agree with, to be honest with you. I don't agree with the full remote meeting. I
Well,
really don't.
yeah, the branding
I think it
committee
helps
has made a decision to do that and have been doing it the whole time.
Okay, but sorry, didn't mean to derail things, guys.
That's okay.
Didn't mean to derail.
There is another issue that I'm going to, can't do too much for it because I knew about this before, but the date slipped my mind. But I want to put it on record that presumably everybody wants to stay with the committee after the 30th, right? Or after June 30th, everybody's, technically their roles end and we have to renew. So presumably everybody's good. You all want to stay on the committee. I don't have to report that anybody's going to be dropping out, right?
Was there a date you had to do that we missed? Is that-
I have to get it done by like this weekend
Oh, okay.
or before our next meeting at
Okay.
least.
Well, you have room.
Yeah, a little room. The other thing is we discuss committee roles. So once we know everybody's going to be good and we're going to bring them all back over. And this one I did say we would probably figure out closer to June, July. I wanted to just remind people again that if anybody is interested in being the chair, the vice chair, the clerk,
It's wide open, clerk, anybody.
yeah,
Take
just
nomination.
let us know. I think the three of us have been doing this role for 2-3 years now. So
You do it so well.
And you know what's good about being ex officio? I don't have to worry about having a role.
that's right. Yeah.
I'll take
You-
that.
you just have
That means
the
I don't
half
have to vote, that's fine.
You have the half-hour update every day. Or every time. That's yours.
No, are we getting into the sticky?
So yeah, so I just want to remind people about that. But if anybody, this is the end of June. Everybody's time here lapses, and we have to say we're all just going to be signed in again. If we don't do that, then you have to be reapplied. We have to go through the whole process and vote people in again. So, it's a real pain. Everybody will have to be sworn in again. That's just a
Get
thing.
a new card.
New card happens every year, just a formality. We got to do it. But yeah. So if there is any questions or objections or anything or whatever, I think technically we're allowed to vote as a committee and decide if we want to keep each individual and say that so we can expel people. Yes.
I
Yes.
love this.
Which we would have to hold a special meeting just to expel people.
Wow.
But it's if somebody hasn't been showing up to meetings,
Do you invite them
right?
to the meeting?
Sure.
If they have been causing too many issues, if
Yeah.
there's whatever, but they won't resign, there can't be anything done. Technically, the board, the select board's hands are tied, the clerk's hands are tied on a lot of issues until you reach this date, and the committee can all decide, listen, so and so is just not working out, right? We need to expel them. And you need good reason. You need to be we're all agreeing to expel them because they've missed, 5 of the 9 meetings we've had
In
this year.
theory, if you miss 3, you're automatically off.
True. Yes.
In theory, I think that's in either the guidelines or the committee handbook. Or
It is there. I don't hold to it. I'm fine with it.
And is it a straight, sorry, just out of curiosity, we don't have to go down that rabbit hole, but is it 3 regardless of how many meetings you have a year? So
I believe
if
so.
you're only meeting quarterly, you can miss 3 out of the 4
Yeah.
versus if you're meeting.
Yes.
It's not
Interesting.
defined any more than 3 meetings.
Yeah. So.
And as a reminder too, we have an open position.
We do.
We advertise in the paper, so
Yes.
if you know anybody that
Yeah.
wants to come on
Join.
board.
What are we looking for in the way of help or expertise?
Is it a full member or an associate member as well?
Full
member.
You can have as many associates as you want. Yeah, this is a full chair.
You looking for any expertise?
Legal help.
Yes.
Right. Get a lawyer so you don't have to keep going back to town
We have a
council.
lawyer. Mark.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So let's move on before I get in trouble for too many topics not reasonably anticipated.
Chris, I do have one thing on that.
Yeah.
So I recently bought a house in Chicopee. Yeah, so I thought this might pose a problem. I did mention it to Kate because she's friends with me on Facebook, so she saw that I purchased the house. She talked to Steve, and I guess Steve said as long as the committee is okay with it, there can be a member out of town.
Are you okay with it?
Oh yeah, I want to stay. My parents are still in Belchertown. I still want to be
Okay.
very involved in Belchertown. I just want to make sure you guys are okay with it.
Yeah, I didn't think that the people out of town were allowed, but if Steve is saying it's okay, then I have no objections.
I
I
have
mean, I don't have an objection, but I'm surprised it's allowed, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That does
Let
sound,
me see if I can find the email and I can read you guys exactly what he wrote.
Great. Because absolutely, we'd love to keep you around.
yeah, but I'm surprised. That's-
Well,
yeah.
Not if you're always going to be on the internet. You need-
Well, we're going to get to that in a minute about switching around the dates because I think that's what we're going to have to do is Thursdays maybe one night and then Tuesdays another, and I think we have to go back to
Mondays
that.
and Tuesdays and Wednesdays are tough to get a room.
True, we'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a nice room at BCTV.
There is a nice room at BCTV.
Yeah.
And if Esther's okay, then it's her building now.
We just have to bring a camera or something in there to go to a meeting. But yeah,
I think you used just a laptop last couple of times, right?
yeah, we'll put together a mobile committee meeting setup.
We can set up a little A10 video mixer, put some microphones, not a.
Whatever you got, yeah. All right, we're just killing time to look for this email, but you know what? If you
I'll
don't,
just forward it to
if you
the
don't have it
committee.
right away, then yeah,
it
send it to
didn't-
us.
It didn't pop
Yeah,
right away.
we'll look into it. We'll try to make sure that this works out. If it sounds like if Steve's okay with it, then we're fine. Congratulations on the new house. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Which brings us to,
any announcements or informal topics? Anybody have anything? Okay, cool. And then that brings us to deliberating the next meeting time. So yes, the results came out last time that everybody is absolutely available on Fridays, except nobody wants to meet on Fridays. So thank you all from a chair perspective. That makes it real easy for me. But the next best nights were Thursday nights and Tuesday nights. The issue with that was being that one member on that had everybody except for one member on those nights. So that's why we moved. Yeah, that's why we moved Thursdays to, or we moved this meeting to Thursday instead of Friday, just to get away from that.
I think the first and third week of the month. So for the second and fourth week,
Okay, so it's not
So it
every
might
Thursday.
not. It, okay.
Might be a big conflict.
Well, that's good to know because then maybe we would just move to Tuesdays, right? Okay, so
I'm not the Thursday conflict, right? That wasn't me.
no, it's Emily.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's temporary.
Yeah, I don't want to force somebody to always be online, so that's not fair. Although I'm sure you're far more comfortable than the rest of us are. But yeah, so I'm proposing that our next one we do the same week we were thinking, but try to meet on Tuesday instead.
Okay, the planning board will have this room on Tuesdays, on second and fourth week of the month.
And I can figure out the room. I mean, that's part of my role.
And there's another committee that meets also, whose name I don't remember, so we may end up in the auditorium, just FYI.
And we're all familiar with that setup.
Yeah.
So this would be, so the 23rd would be the Friday, but we're not doing Fridays anymore. We were thinking the 20th.
Okay, if you don't need the minutes done, I'm not sure I can get them done in that short time period.
That's okay. Yeah.
I won't be there. We're going on vacation that week, but
But other than that, Tuesdays are great.
Okay.
So we're looking at Tuesday the 20th at what, 7 p.m.-ish?
Yep. Tuesday 20th, 7 p.m. Location will be up in the air until I reserve it.
And right now, it says I do have a school committee meeting that night. So let me confirm that.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great if you could figure out what their schedule
It's
is.
supposed to be the first and third, of course, nothing is set.
Maybe they're meeting weekly because of
That is-
stuff.
That is the third week.
Oh, that is the third week.
The fourth week would be the 27th.
Thank you.
Oh, because we do. Oh, that's it. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Because we do the second and fourth Thursday of the month,
And this month started on a Thursday.
and this month started on a Thursday
Yeah.
or Friday. We swapped it to that. Okay, so it's just we're all.
So is the 27th too long?
No, I mean, should we meet on the 27th instead? Right, push it out an extra week. Because that was one of the other concerns that that Lou brought up earlier. Is we have 16 items on here. But all of them, do they need to be constantly discussed? Do we need to be doing these bi-weekly meetings? Should we cut it down to once a month for a little while? The rest of the select board slows things down. I doubt they will with the town meeting happening, but
Come summer.
but come summer, we do summer hours with the
Yeah.
select board and a bunch of other groups. Does it make sense to start cutting things down to just once a month getting together? And if we need to, we can schedule another meeting,
Yeah.
but otherwise.
I'm good with that. I mean, the main reason we went to every two was because of the website. We had so much going on.
We had a lot going on, yeah. So we can slow down.
I'm game.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would say we don't have to go through every item at every meeting, right? We can just go
Right,
through the ones
right.
that require committee discussion. And that would cut down the agenda by half.
Yeah. Yep.
Sure.
I
Yeah,
know
we
for-
got
I was gonna say, for me, like, the less meetings I have to go to,
the better.
the better. Like, this week out of my 19 hours, I've spent 5 of them in meetings.
Gotcha.
And things like branding and wayfinding are gonna go away,
Mm-hmm.
you know? That's,
Well, come June 30th for sure.
Do we want to meet on the 27th or push it to like the 10th of June? I feel like I'd like to do maybe the 27th, but
Yeah, I do too.
I do too.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot that could happen.
I mean, that's all gonna be posted.
I also don't
Yeah.
hate doing it just before the end of the month, so we make sure that you guys with the newsletter are all set.
Yeah,
like
if
squared
anybody
away.
has questions, that'd
Yeah.
be good.
Okay. So let's go with that. We'll meet on the 27th, and
At
then
7.
we'll figure out at that one that maybe there's going to be a more monthly
We have
rotation.
to
that we
fill
do.
another 10 minutes to meet my expectations.
Oh no, let's get out of here. And with that, Ed moves to adjourn. Do we have a second? All those in favor? Aye. Emily, thank you. That is everybody.
And it's what, 8:35? Is that
It
what I
is
have?
8:35.
Yeah, we're gonna be
All
out
right.
here at 7:30, aren't we?
I know. Well, I mean, it was like 5 minutes until. Emily, thank you very much for joining us online. Hopefully we can see you in-house the next time.
Yep.
And
Awesome.
have a good night.
You too. Bye, guys.